Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi zidni ilma. Quote of the day. One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Dr. Sadia Rafiq, and under the kind supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal, today my topic of presentation is population census. Learning outline includes the introduction to census, history, advantages and disadvantages, importance of census, techniques and methods of census, census methodology, history of Pakistan census, recent updates, and multiple choice questions. Learning outcome. At the end of this presentation, participants will be able to describe census, its advantages and disadvantages, importance, techniques, methodology, and Pakistan's history of census. Major sources of population data. There are 4 major sources of population data in a country. Number 1, population census. Number 2, demographic sample surveys. Number 3, registration systems and administrative statistics, including voter registration, which include births, deaths, and marriages, population registers, survey statistics from health and family planning programs, international migration statistics, and last, qualitative data. Census. Its origin is from Latin word censere, which becomes census in English, and census means official counting. What is census? A census is a procedure of systematically acquiring and recording information. And what is population census? A population census consists of collecting information about the population, compiling it, analyzing it, and using it to assess the state and health of the country and its residents. There are many points of information collected, typically gender, metastatus, income, and background, among other things. History. The German city of Nuremberg made an almost complete count of its people in 1449. Before that time, inventories of people, taxpayers, or valuables were certainly made, but the method and purposes of such inventories were different from modern ones. Before 17th century, it was to identify who should be taxed, inducted into military services, or forced to work. In ancient way, they only calculate the head of the families and males of the military age. Modern procedure of census. In modern procedure, they not only calculate all individuals, but they also acquire other necessary information related to individuals. This information helps the government to easily bring change in the welfare of individual life. First complete census was done in Sweden in 1749 AD. Other countries followed it later. In Indo-Pak, first census was carried out 1867 to 72 and repeated in 1881. Advantages. It is the most accurate count of country's population. It captures many aspects of country population data and characteristics. It also includes information about the income, housing, etc. Disadvantages include that it is very expensive. It can only be done after a long time. Inaccuracies may result if the person is not fully trained, and it is very time consuming. Importance of census. Population and housing census is stock taking of human resources of a country and their living condition at one point of time. It provides the basic data on demographic, social, and economic variables about each person and each housing unit. Data collected through census serves as a benchmark for all types of socioeconomic development plans, administrative and demographic research. Legal and political impact. Census also made legal for providing basis for political presentation in the Provisional and National Assembly, Article 51(3) of Constitution. Distribution of funds to the federating unit by National Finance Commission, Article 162 of Constitution. Determine quota for recruitment of all civil posts in federal government, and the delineation of constituencies for National Provisional Assembly. Coverage of information includes geographic characteristics, which are usual place of residence, place of birth, duration of residence in current place, place of the work, and the economic characteristics include the occupation, industry, employment, source of livelihood. Personal and household characteristics include the age, sex, marital status, caste, language, religion, citizenship, literacy, relationship to the head of the household, number of live births, number of children alive, and age at first marriage. Now you can see the sample form of this census. It is Hukumat Pakistan Tanzeem Mardam Shumari, and you can see it's how much detail it is. The form, naam for gharana, gharane ke sarbara, jins, umar, azwaji haysiyat, mazhab, madri zuban, qawmiyat, khwandagi, pass shuda, and then the rihaish, noyat, and so much you can see that so much detail form of census. and it is being filed individually at every household. The important information we gather it is the availability of national level data for socioeconomic and planning, basis for demographic and health surveys, source of internationally comparing data needed for every sector of development, useful in population projection, researchers, educators, NGOs use its data for different purposes. Importance of the census, population size, information regarding number of people and structure of population, revenue estimates, helps in determination of taxable adults, determines the level of unemployment, provides statistics to determine level of unemployment. Then the number of immigrants known through statistics, forecast future economic needs for food, housing, social security, and health. Then the distribution of resources, areas of high population will get more resources, and that reveals level of labor force. Then the investment decisions influence countries' investment decisions. Then the transport, type of transport facilities required, provision of social amenities, and idea help in provision of social amenities, which are the facilities. So the census techniques, census can be conducted on the following basis. Number one is de facto method, second is de jure method, and third is modified de jure method. As you can see, the de jure method in usual household resident, de facto in fact stayed in household last night. I will describe in detail. What's the de facto method? In this method, people are counted in place where they are found. In order to conduct census on the basis of this method, the government declares fixed date as census day and all the people are pre-informed of counting. This type of census is conducted at night because it is presumed that all households are present on their residence during that time. The jure method. The census method, which can be conducted on the basis of permanent place of residence, is called the jure method. This method is considered more practicable and scientific than de facto method. For this type of census operation, census period is defined and counting of population is completed within this period. The period taken is generally 2 to 3 weeks. Difficulty to collect information regarding to the person who usually place of residence is differ from permanent place of residence. Third is modified de jure method. In order to avoid the limitations of both method mentioned above, the third has been developed as modified de jure method. In this method, census is performed on the basis of usual place of residence. Nepal has also applied it as a method of census since 1952-54 AD. Instead of taking census on the basis of permanent resident, usual place of residence of 6 months and over is considered in this method. Methods of the census includes the enumeration, questionnaire, or the combination of both. Enumeration is being used in Pakistan and USA, and questionnaire method is used in England. Census methodology. It is divided into 3 broad groups. Number 1 is pre-enumeration, which is also called census planning, enumeration, and post-enumeration. First, the pre-enumeration of census activities. Cabinet approves the date of census and the process of census planning starts. Pre-census activities include the design, development and pre-testing of the questionnaire, logistic assessments, preparation of manuals and other census documents, delineation of census areas, preparation of the maps, recruiting of field staff, then the data processing, editing, publicity, distribution, and retrieval of documents and publication. This all comes in pre-enumeration. Second one is the enumeration. This process covers the training of field staff, distribution and retrieval of census documents, door-to-door canvassing, supervision, monitoring and establishment of control rooms. Last is the post-enumeration, and it covers the data processing, tabulation, analysis of data, and report writing. Factors affecting census operation. These are 3 basic factors which affect the census operation, which are political influence, seasonal migrants, geographical inaccessibilities of areas. Advantages and disadvantages are census is a single source of population and housing data permitting cross classification of several variables at all geographic and administrative levels. It is a snapshot and one point of time. However, population is a continuously changing process and census cannot provide updated data. Census occurs at fixed time interval like 5 or 10 years and cannot provide data in between. Census is a nationwide activity both in coverage and content, thus affected by external forces beyond the control of the conducting agency. History of Pakistan census. Since 1951, there have been only 6 nationwide censuses. 1961, 72, 81, 98, 2017, and first in 1951. Delays and postponements have often been due to politicization. Pakistan's last completed census took place in 2017. In 2017, Census of Pakistan were detailed enumeration of Pakistan's population, which began on 15th March 2017 and ended on 25th May 2017. It was the first census taken in the country in the 21st century, 19 years after the previous one in 1998, and it was carried out by the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Census Organization, initially it was Census Organization in 1950, then Census and Registration Organization 1976, then it was upgraded as Population Census Organization in 1978, and lastly, Federal Bureau of Statistics in 2012. Pakistan Bureau of Statistics (PBS) is the prime official agency of Pakistan responsible for collection, compilation, and dissemination of reliable and timely statistical information to the policymakers, planners, and researchers. You can see the population of Pakistan in the year 1951, it was 33 million. And in 2030s, it would be around 244 million. And in 21st century, it would be 364 million. And you can see again the graph, how it is increasing from 1951 to 2100, and it's a gradual increase in the population. Recent updates. Pakistan Census 2017. The latest data collected from the census is a critical next step in the country's development, which will uncover important demographic trends such as fertility, mortality, and gender inequalities. Most importantly, it will inform how policymaker and leader envision the future for Pakistan. You can see 6 census, 1951 to 2017. It is shown the population of the Pakistan in 1951, it was around 33 million, and in 2017, it was 207 million. And it is a provisional summary result of 6 population and housing census 2017. It is the administrative unit. Pakistan as a whole, then Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, FATA, Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, and ICT, intercity capital territory, which is Islamabad. It is the households, these are the total population, and it is the average annual growth rate. You can say that Pakistan in 2017 total household was this figure, total population was this, and average annual growth was 2.40. And it is different in different provinces as we go, and it was maximum in Islamabad. We can see by this annual growth rate, you can see the Islamabad is maximum, then it comes the Balochistan, then KP, then FATA, then Sindh, and it is Punjab. Then the population of major cities, census 2017, top 10 cities, Karachi first, Lahore, Faisalabad, Rawalpindi, Gujranwala, Peshawar, Multan, Hyderabad, Islamabad, and Quetta City. And you can see in 2017 and 2019, as you can see in Karachi, into 1998, the population was 93 lakh. But in 2017, you can see it is 1 crore and 49 lakh. So there's an increase in all, and you can see the difference. It is the Pakistan population density map 2017 and the people per square kilometer district level. Dark brown is 1500 per plus, and this red is 500 to 1000. And you can see the areas, which is basically the Punjab, Islamabad, a little bit area of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and the Sindh. So it is the population density map. Then the population pyramid of Pakistan 2017 census. You can see this is the male, and this darker area, the surplus males, females, and the surplus female. And you can see the age bracket. Age is showing the gap of 5 years. Each bar showing the difference. It is the age, and it is the distribution of males and females. Next come in the census 2007, urban population is 36%, and the rural population is 64%. And in the 2007 million is the total population. You can see 53% of this population is in Punjab and 23% in the Sindh. KP has 15% and remaining in the remaining provinces. And by gender, 49% are females and 51% are male. Household size. Basically, household size is the number of the individual living in this one economic unit, one household. You can see a household size, and if we see in the Pakistan, the total household size is 6.45. And individually, you can see the maximum is a FATA, which is 8.96. Then comes the KP, then Balochistan. And again, it is the population in millions. Top 10 cities, and you can see the orange one is 98 values and 2017 this. You can see the gross difference in Karachi's population, then the Lahore, Faisalabad, Saman, even Quetta. You can see in a 1998 was 0.7 and 2017 it is 1. In 2045, with the existing growth rate, population will be doubled. Bigger population would lead to choked roads, schools, and hospitals. Second is the Pakistan Demographic and Health Service, PDHS service. PDHS are nationally representative household service that provide data for a wide range of monitoring and impact evaluation indicators in the areas of population, health, and nutrition. There are two main types of DHS service. One is standard DHS service, have large sample size, usually between 5,000 to 30,000 households, and typically are conducted about every 5 years to allow comparisons over time. And TARAM DHS service focus on the collection of information of key performing monitoring indicators, but may not include data for all impact evaluation measures, such as mortality rates. You can see these all are available. Reports are available on the dashboard. Whatever you want to see, you can just click it and you will find that. So 2017-18 Pakistan Demographic and Health Survey. In 2017-18, PDHS was implemented by the National Institute of Population Studies under the aegis of Ministry of National Health Sciences, Services, Regulations and Coordination, Islamabad, Pakistan. It was being given technical assistance through DHS program, and this project was funded by USAID, UK and UNFDPA. The main objective of 2017-18 PDHS is to provide current estimates of fertility, marriage, family planning, nutrition, childhood mortality, maternal and child health, malaria, women's empowerment, domestic violence, HIV, AIDS, migration, and disability. This information for program manager and policymakers to evaluate and design programs and strategies for improving the health of Pakistan. The 2017 PDH is the fourth demographic and health survey conducted in Pakistan since 1990 to 91 as a part of DHS program. It is designed to provide estimate for national level, urban and rural areas, 4 provinces, Punjab, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, 2 regions, Azad Jammu Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, Islamabad and FATA. And you can see the distribution of all the Pakistan's region. PDHS publication data and digital to all final reports, key finding, fact sheets, all is available, data set available on dhsprogram.com. Now it's time for the multiple choice questions. A demographer, ABC, was explaining the process of collection, compiling, evaluating, analysis, and publishing demographic, social, and economic data about the entire population of well-defined territory at specified time is called registration, population census, de facto system of census, de jure system of census.
Beta.
Yes, the correct answer is population census at a defined time and including whole population of well-defined territory. A researcher, ABC, is eager to know about the history of first ever census conducted in the world. Which one of the following countries is where first complete census were done in 1749 AD? America, United Kingdom? Yes, the correct answer is Sweden.
Sweden.
Yes. A research team, ABC, is interested in calculating population of a community XYZ at specific time period. The most important factor which must be known by the team is population at that point, future population, age-specific distribution of population, number of years between census, and growth rate.
Alpha.
No, the most important factor in at the time of the start is the growth rate. We need to see the growth rate of that population before conducting it. Number 4, government of ABC country is interested to conduct census in the country. As census is very expensive and time-consuming process, it is divided into different phases. Which of the given process is included in pre-enumeration phase of census? Training of field staff, field work and supervision, logistic assessment, and data analysis.
Alpha.
No, the correct answer is C, logistic assessment. Training of field staff comes in the phase 2. Recruitment of field staff comes in the phase 1. Phase 1 basically is the census planning phase. So training comes in the phase 2, and the logistic assessment, including all the how much forms, the transport, everything comes in the logistic assessment. It is in phase 1. Census is done to have data for planning and policy making as well as needed for every sector for development of any country. There are some factors which affect census operation. Given below are all except political influence, seasonal migrants, geographical inaccessibility of area, or census planning.
Delta.
Yes, the correct answer is census planning, because above all three affect the census operation. And census operations mean, well, the problems or the effects which we can have during the conduction of the census process. Mr. Ali is a resident of Multan, but for the sake of some business commitment, he had to visit Lahore, and he stayed to his brother's house for 2 days. Meanwhile, during his stay in Lahore, census chiefs came to his brother's house for counting, and he was also included in the family member. This type of census model is called de jure method, de facto method, enumeration method, or questionnaire method.
De facto.
Yes, the correct answer is de facto method. In de facto method, as we know, the person is counted at the place of presence. The person where it is present is counted. So B is the correct answer. Miss Alina, who is an economist, giving lecture to students, told that there are 2 types of measuring population. One is counting population when a person is present on the census date, and other count is based on usual residence. Which of the following gives permanent picture of the population? De facto system, sample survey, cluster sampling, or de jure system of census?
De jure system of census.
Yes, the correct answer is D, de jure system of census. It is the person is counted at his or her usual place of residence. A demographer ABC was teaching his class regarding the graphical form in which the age-sex distribution of a population can be most clearly presented is known as pyramid, age-sex graph, polograph of population, or population pyramid.
Population pyramid.
Yes, the correct answer is population pyramid. Miss Ambreen is a school teacher and she has been selected for the census duty. After a 6 days of training session, she was sent along with other trainees to a field visit and filling the form themselves to rectify mistakes. This whole training program lasts for 1 month. This activity is a part of which of the census methodology? Pre-enumeration, enumeration, post-enumeration, or census planning?
Post-enumeration.
No, it is the yes, B is the correct answer. I have told you the process has 3: pre-enumeration, enumeration, and post-enumeration. Pre-enumeration includes the recruitment of the field staff. Enumeration is a process where the training of the staff is being done, how to fill the form and everything. So second is the correct answer, B. Last, a demographer ABC was teaching his students about population pyramid, which is also called age-sex pyramid. He told them that young population is always placed at the bottom, and pyramids are grouped according to age, and each bar represents the gap of 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years.
Five years.
Yes, the correct answer is 5 years. I have told you while I was showing even the pyramid, each bar showing the gap of the 5 years. This is my key. These are my references, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sadia, you have presented very good slides, and your discussion about census again. There are many things that were given in today's presentation, and that is why when you were checking the concepts in MCQs, I still think that more or depth of the knowledge is required from the student side so that they can mark the correct answer with accuracy, validity, and reliability. The most important thing is that you have linked the census with the pyramids. Again, a very nice way of thinking in this census data about the pyramids and about the other factors like urbanization and implications of urbanization, poor health services, and all these things depends upon census data. And we know that with the rise of mega cities, and now COVID-19 has again one of the factors that has shown that how the census is necessary for every country. In Pakistan, one of the great challenges conduction of census due to certain reasons, and one of the reason is that being a developing country, or some issues with terrorism and facing different problems, the census has been used as a projected numbers, and this is one of the hypothetical method of calculating different important things. Moreover, we know the urbanization has increased over the years, especially over the past years. So the projections again, they have to taken the care of the mega cities, how they are developing. We are lucky that we don't have a large number of global urbanization, and most of the people from Pakistan, they are rapidly they are changing the growth patterns like natural increase, and one of the challenge is that we have to reclassify our urban boundaries, and many of the rural areas now are considered as the urban areas. Even if we think of the big cities like Karachi, Lahore, we know that many of the small cities, rural areas, semi-urban areas that were present near the boundaries of the cities, now they have been reclassified as urban boundaries. So all of these factors, they distort the data, and they didn't help in the correct projection of the data. Again, another important thing that is seen in all the developing countries is that there are more people who are finding jobs, and they are leaving the premises, and the prime working ages especially, they are going from one area to another for having better services like education, of job, work, health services, etc. So the social mobility, again, it is one of the factor whenever we are talking about census data. We have to be very careful about social mobility. And we know that there are two types of social mobility, that may be upwards or downwards, and that may be achieved or forced. However, the main two types are intergenerational mobility, that is more frequent, and we compare the father's job with the son's and the similar stage of life cycle. And the second is the intragenerational mobility, that is less frequent, and that is basically by the job changes. As we know that today we are more focused towards having IT technology, innovations, and now more of the jobs that are related with the IT industry. So intergenerational mobility, that would be the major factor that would determine the projections of the census data in few years ahead. And there are two major studies I would like you to also comment in your next presentation about those studies is in the recent advances. One is by David Glass, that the David Glass used the Hal Jones score, and the Hal Jones score has 7 levels. First level is professional and high administrative. The second is the managerial and executive, and the third is inspectional supervisory, just like as we are having the higher grades. and many other levels. But I still, I will not go into detail into the remaining levels. But these 3 levels, they are very much required while we are discussing the social mobility and the projections of the census data. Similarly, there are many other models that are being used for the projection of the census. And I would like to request Dr. Sadia to please add 1 or 2 slides about the projection of census data.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the reason is, what is the rationale behind it? Because we are more dependent on the projection of census data rather than the de facto or de jure method of census.
Okay, ma'am,
And
inshallah.
well done. Right. If anybody has any question, you can write in the chat box, or you can even raise hand to ask your question. Okay, thank you very much. I can't see any question in the chat box, so we can stop here. If you have no other questions, we can stop here. Dr. Sadia, do you have any question?
No, ma'am, thank you so much. I will add and upload the presentation.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Overall, it is a wonderful presentation, a very nice presentation. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am. Thank you.